All right, if I can have your attention in the Samsung Mobile Media Center, our post-qualifying press conference will begin. With us, our third-place qualifier for the AAA Texas 500, Mr. Carl Edwards, three-time Texas winner here. This is also his best start at Texas since the spring of 2008. Number 2 in practice, you got to feel pretty good about today.
Yeah, it's a good lap, a great day for Ford, and I cannot tell you guys how fast that lap that Elliott Sadler ran is. I mean, that's unbelievable that they ran that fast. I felt like my lap was extremely good, so definitely have to give those guys credit and Elliott credit for the lap that he ran. That is a spectacular lap. So it'll be a good starting spot for us. I think third will be, other than the pole, that to me would be the next best spot. We'll have that inside lane. Elliott will probably be very fast on the start, so it'll be a good start for us. We'll get a good pit stall selection and just good. Like you said, best since 2008. It feels nice to be this fast.
Carl, you were a little bit surprised by Elliott's lap?
I was extremely surprised. My lap felt really, really fast. I went across the line, and I thought, that's the pole for sure. And then I thought, man, that lap was pretty fast, Elliott ran. So I waited for Bob to tell me the time, and I can't believe he was 2.5 tenths faster than us. That's just unbelievably fast.
All right, we got a mic runner here. Just raise your hand, and she will come to you. Please state your name and affiliation. We got one right here. It's Mr. Newton.
Yeah, Carl, David Newton, ESPN.com. Considering all the problems they were having over RPM,
Yeah.
They put cars together still. I know they're your cars basically, but they put them together to run a lap like that. Does that surprise you a bit?
It's it is pretty surprising. I think that I talked to a couple RPM guys this morning, guys that work on one of the other teams, and they were saying, man, I said, how are things going? He said, just racing for food right now, trying to show that we've got a good team full of good guys that can do the job. And I think that you see it right there. That's a team and a driver and a group of guys that can do this. So I don't know if they're that fast because they're they got that mentality racing for food, or if they're what's going on. But I think it proves how good they can be. So does make it more of a tragedy that they're having struggles over there, because I believe that with enough time that Roush and RPM could work together to make great things happen.
All right, we'll go here to Monty.
Carl, this is kind of like, well, it's got to be weighing on your mind when you've gone as long without winning. I mean, that naturally.
Right.
But you can't give yourself ulcers, let it grind you out every day. And the flip side of that is that you'd probably be disappointed as a competitor if it didn't weigh, if you got accustomed to not winning. So how do you balance that?
I realized in 2006 how tough this sport can be, and that expectation doesn't mean anything. So what you expect to do doesn't matter. It's what you go and do. And so for me, the way I dealt with, and I have dealt with all of our low points in performance, and how I'm dealing with our lack of winning right now is just by going and doing the very best I can, and trying to treat every race like it's like there's no expectation. I guess, for instance, if we would have won last week, we still have to come to this race and run the same way that we're running it right now. If we win this race this week, we start our losing streak next week. You got to start going for wins there. So for me, it's the best way I deal with it is just to go race to race, work as hard as I can, take what comes, and then forget it once it's over, because it doesn't matter.
Do we have any more questions for our third-place qualifier, Carl Edwards? All right, Carl, thanks for joining us in here.
Thank you, guys.
Now we have our second-place qualifier, driver of the 16 Ford, Mr. Greg Biffle. This is Greg's best start at Texas Motor Speedway. It's also his best starting position of the year. Number 1 in practice. You got to feel pretty good about your day, Greg.
I didn't notice you, Adrian.
Yeah,
Very nice.
I'm all logoed up still.
All right. Yeah, it was. It's been a great weekend so far for us. I tell you what, one thing about this chase is we've either been on the money or we've been in the back. So it's although we've had fast cars, I guess I'm more talking about the race. But it feels good to be fast again up front. I feel like my car is spectacular in race trim. Probably, I told the guys one of the best cars I've driven in, this season probably. I said that at Kansas, but this thing seems to be as good or better. So we're super happy with it. A little disappointed qualifying. Really excited for Elliott Sadler. He's part of our camp and hasn't had the performance he's needed. And is leaving at the end of the year, but I'm excited for him to be on the pole here. He's definitely deserves it. But just a little bit too loose. Didn't anticipate the track speeding up. I guess we didn't really make any changes because we didn't think it was going to speed up, and just a little too loose.
Picked up speed though, and were you surprised that Elliott Sadler was able to turn the lap he did?
Yeah, really surprised. Although when I got done qualifying, it's funny when I was coming in, I said, "Man, sorry guys," I said I was just too loose. I couldn't turn it to the bottom and stay in the throttle like I did in practice. And I said I probably left 2/10 out there, a tenth each end. And Elliott Sadler comes back and runs right after me, runs exactly almost to the T, 2/10 quicker than I did. So my prediction was, I guess, pretty close, but surprising that, not surprised that somebody went that fast, I guess. But surprised that I was that close to what I thought fast time should be.
All right. If you have a question for Greg, please raise your hand. Mike Runner, please state your name and affiliation. Any questions for Greg? Right here in the front.
Nate Ryan, USA Day. Greg, I know it's just qualifying, but if that 4 of the top 5s are Fords, take anything from that for Sunday? Is that a real good sign, I assume?
I think it was the same way at a lot of these tracks after Chicago since we switched to the RPM type front suspension. Michigan, we qualified really well. A lot of these mile and a halves we've been qualifying well. This is a great track for us. It fits our MO as a company. And, not really surprised that the Fords are up there. I saw it in practice. And, our cars are really good on these kind of racetracks. We just, like I said, we need to figure out what we got to do to be better at the Richmonds and the Martinsvilles and some of the slower, shorter tracks. It seems like our cars run better with the more speed that the racetrack has. The faster places, we're right there with them all the time. And it's surprising to me when I watch the qualifying how far off that the 11, the 18, the 48, the 29. It blows my mind how far off they are, and then how bad they beat us at the shorter places and how good they are. So it's we just need to figure that out. We're switching the baton back and forth. We just got to figure out how to be better at those other places.
Yeah, Mike Muller, MikeMuller.net. Qualifying doesn't always mean a whole lot at a lot of places, but at this track, I get the impression that it means more than at most places. What do you take from that in terms of looking at who's fast today and who's probably going to be fast on Sunday? I'm thinking that there's a pretty good correlation at this particular track.
Yeah, I think if you look at the practice and look at qualifying, this is a type of place. If you have a fast race car, it's going to be near the front. And, the guys that are 20th on back are going to, they got their day cut out for them. The thing that'll make the difference is they're smart racers and they can adapt as a driver. And when the speed slows down, maybe their car's a lot better. I've been places where, let's say faster than a 2850 or, 2830, I can't drive it that fast. It's too loose. It's all over. But when it slows down to that speed, I'm rocket fast, and I can maintain that speed, and everybody else is in the gutter technically. When they're running 29.0s, I'm running 0.3 a lap faster. So that could be the case on some of those guys. Their car's real good at a certain speed, but when you need that last 0.4 of a second, it just isn't there for them. They can't get the balance right. So that's possible. What some of those guys' issues are.
Let me follow up on that real quickly, because I don't think tires here are going to fall off like you're saying like that, because this is Texas and one of the toughest places on tires, so I'm not so sure we're going to see the speeds fall off that much. What do you see in terms of speeds falling off over 100 miles?
Yeah, I think that as the track gets rubber on it, and we're running 3 races this weekend, it's going to get a little slicker as the weekend goes. We're not going to get any rain on it, so I think on on Sunday, the speeds will be slower than we're seeing them right now. And then, then throughout a run, the tires will fall off some. Tires will make a difference when it comes time to put tires on or get track position to a degree. I'm thinking that 2 tires will get the job done here, as far as, we'll have to see what the balance does. And normally a guy likes to try and do that in the first 4/4 of the race. Try 2 and see how your car drives, so you know what it's going to do at the end.
Do we have any more questions for Greg? Thanks for coming in.
Sure.
Congratulations. Good luck on Sunday.
Thanks.